Welcome back to the Netwrk. Season 2 is finally here. We're changing things up a little bit. A lot of things went down in 2023. We launched the Netwrk podcast in 2023, summer of 2023. Had some great interviews in 2023 as well, for it being a new platform. Some great insights on things that our guests that we brought onto the platform provided. But this time around, the goal is to level up this year. Not even try, but it's the focus is to level up and do things in a way that is going to position the network directly in front of people continuously, and in addition to that, just provide key information. Also, one of the things that I did last year too was put a questionnaire out there to the people to get an idea what they're looking for, what they would like to see with the network moving forward. And one of the common responses that I received back was they would like to see me bring co-hosts onto the platform periodically, you know, and people always say, or people that own businesses always say, why don't you, whenever you do something, and you have an audience base, try to listen to your audience and deliver what your audience are looking for. And mind you, not everything that you want to do that your audience mentioned, but there are things out there that your audience put out there that they would like to see, and if you can make it happen for them. So I went on this journey looking for a co-host, right? A co-host that I feel like could actually bring a certain type of energy to the forefront, to the table, and to the viewers. And in addition to that, I found somebody who actually works with me, right? Who's a colleague of mine in my brokerage. But this is not about her working within my brokerage. She has an amazing personality. And I feel like we could kick it off because we act stupid in the office together. Her and I were always joking around, always saying some dumb shit all the time in the office. So I feel like, you know what? Why not just bring this person on? I think she'll be that energy, that people might be looking for. And in addition to that, a lot of responses were, can she be a woman? I'm like, man, here we go. So listen to the people.
Give the people what they want.
Listen, I'm listening to the people. I'm giving you guys what you want. And with that said, welcome to the platform, Miss Angela Montero. If you don't mind, introduce yourself. Talk to the people. Let's go.
You're wild. But my name is Angela Montero. Like you said, we work together, and it's true. We're always bouncing off each other. This guy, I mean, you watch the network, so we got all the energy. So in the office, that's just how it is. We'll do the whole joking around thing, whatever. But in the end, there's always something valuable that comes about it. You might come in dancing and like doing your Sadiq, your high knee thing that you do when you come in.
Nobody knows about the money dance.
Oh, nobody knows
about that money dance, man.
Comes in, does the money dance. We laugh. He's loud. He does all that. But when we sit around, we do have great conversations. So
tremendous amount of great conversations.
Very, very good conversation. Very productive. We learn a lot from each other, I think. Very different personalities, but we do have some similarities. So I think that's where that goes. I think if we didn't have that understanding, we'd probably argue about some of the conversations that we have. But I think there's a good understanding. But like Sadiq said, I work with him. We've done deals together. Yeah. We probably have so many people in common, which is probably why we've clicked from day one.
Facts.
Because we didn't necessarily know each other, but we knew a lot of people that know each other.
There's a lot of people within our circle,
right?
Yeah.
And so we're gonna see. I'm hoping that I bring the energy that the people want, and then I hope going forward I'm able to be a productive contributor to something that Sadiq has already started.
Amen. Listen, I hope so, cause shit, man. If the audience giving me this advice and it does not work, we're gonna have a problem. I'm gonna have to box all my audiences out. But how's your New Year's though? Like, how's that for you?
New Year's was dope. It was one of those things we didn't plan anything. Yeah. I would have been fine staying at home, but we ended up last minute going out, hanging out with friends, and hearing the Roosters come up, really.
You know what's crazy?
Partied a little bit.
See, I was you guys went to Sam's house. I was
Yep.
actually supposed to go to Sam's house. He hit me up and like, hey, New Year's at the house. I'm like, all right, cool. But I already had I had plans already. My best friend and his wife, they wanted to go out to dinner. I was like, all right, I'll go out to dinner. So we went out to dinner. Brother friend out to dinner with us and whatnot. So we did that for New Year's. Actually, we went to Capitol Grill. Amazing food at Capitol Grill.
Yeah.
Amazing food.
Always.
Always, always. I think their drink selection
Drinks
as
always good.
well is
You know
always
what's
good.
clutch though?
What?
You got to do Capitol Grill like for lunch
Mm,
because it's significantly cheaper than going
yeah,
to dinner.
yeah.
And you get like a nice cocktail, and then I think it's like $30 their lunch, like $29.95.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I
you
didn't
get like
know
a
that.
night. You get one of like the nice sandwiches or the steak frites.
Hmm.
Oh, so good. And then the black tuxedo. Did you have that drink? The
Nah.
tuxedo.
Usually when I have drinks, I usually go with the old fashioned. The old fashioned is always my go to drink. You know what's crazy? I used to always drink Long Island's.
No,
I swear to God. What you mean
I'm
though? That was
judging you.
for what
No,
reason?
I drank Long Island's too, but that's crazy.
Why? I drank that for years, believe it or not.
See, that's
It's
crazy.
for
So
years,
years.
for
See,
years.
I've drank it. Like
Hmm.
I've had Long Island's,
Yeah,
but that was never my drink of choice. Like how old were
gotcha.
you?
Damn, man. I just started drinking old fashioned maybe the last 3 years or
So
so.
up until 3 years ago, you were
Yeah.
drinking Long Island's
Long Island's was my go to
like you
drink.
were 18.
Listen, like listen, that had like 7 different alcoholic
No,
beverages in there.
I'm
Like it used to
dying.
get, I'll drink like 5 of those things, and I'll be like, the fifth one, I'll stop.
No,
That's when I stop being nice. I'm
nope.
like, yeah, this is it right here
No,
for
well, so
me.
I'm glad you elevated your drink selection.
Yeah, now old fashioned is
Good.
the way to go. So we did that, and after that, I didn't even do nothing. To be honest with you, I was tired. I'm getting older, and I just feel like I was getting tired. I was
Oh,
like,
I'm tired.
I'm
I
going,
was
I'm going
tired.
home.
Next day, I just slept.
Yeah,
I woke up, showered. I was like telling myself I was gonna be productive.
yeah.
Like, get up, I'm gonna go out. Put pajamas right back on. I probably took like 4 naps. I did. I
Did
definitely,
you?
yeah, I just like kept waking up and going back to sleep. And it wasn't even like, I wasn't even hungover. I was just
Mm.
tired because it's true. I can't hang like I used to.
Nah, I bummed out that the day of on New Year's Day. I bummed out. Just kept it like simple, and like just lay down and just binge watch TV that
There's nothing wrong with
whole
that.
day. And I don't know. I was cool with it for the most part, which was chill. Nobody bothered me. My phone was on Do Not Disturb. Didn't give a fuck. Didn't want to talk to nobody. And that was the vibe that
That's
I
a
wanted to
nice
be
way
on
to
that
start
day.
the new year.
Yeah, I needed that clear mind. I needed to go into the new year with a clear mind, a clear perspective on things, and just wanted to be at peace moving into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was the biggest thing for me moving forward in 2022, 2024. Wow,
Dang.
pushing myself
But wait,
back.
how do you feel about, did you intentionally do that? Did you say like, I need to go in with a clear headspace. I want to have this low key New Year's Eve, New Year's,
Mhm.
because that's the space that I wanted to enter
Yeah.
2024 in, or was it just organic?
Man, I think that it was more so organic, but I did know that I wanted to go into 2024 with a clear mindset.
So do you do New Year's resolutions?
I don't do New Year's resolutions no more. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions no more. There was a point in time where I tried to do New Year's resolution, but was like, just wasn't jiving for me, right? I'm the type that I would prefer going into the New Year's like, all right, with the mindset of I I know what I want to happen in whatever the following year is. I always write out my goals, but the thing is for me is like I just go in and just do what I can to try to tackle it. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's not like I go in there with a resolution. I'm like, yeah, I want this, I want. Nah, I just try to write out my goals and with the hopes of trying to hit it. That's it. What about you?
No, not really. And it's funny because I feel like, because I'm a rebel without a cause, I swear.
Mm,
Like, I don't even like telling myself what to do.
yeah,
Like, somebody else telling me what to do,
yeah,
I want to do the exact opposite.
yeah.
And I feel like even if I give myself too much sometimes,
Mm,
just naturally, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do it. So I just try to be, like, rather than do an actual, like, New Year's
yeah.
resolution, I just say, what can I do to improve myself a little bit from the year before?
Hmm.
Right? So if the year before, for instance, I really, it's not the whole new year, new me, trying to work out
Yeah.
now type thing. It's not that. But I know I feel better when I do work out
Hmm.
regularly. It doesn't have to be every day.
Hmm.
I know I look better. I know I eat better. I think I'm an overall better person
Yeah.
when I'm incorporating working out, taking my vitamins, just adapting
Doing
a
the
more
things,
healthy
yeah.
lifestyle. But for whatever reason, sometimes, we fall off.
Hmm.
So I didn't necessarily make a resolution, but prior to the new year, I was
Yeah.
trying to get on my Peloton a little bit
Yeah.
more, do some training sessions with my trainer.
Hmm.
And so that's what I'm trying to do. So I don't
Listen,
not a cliche resolution,
yeah.
but I do try to be better.
And that whole work every year, you always hear people, oh, January, I want to get into the gym, do this, do that. And that always seems like the one goal that everybody wants to do.
It's like one of the top ones. Actually, Forbes release an article, Forbes
Hmm.
Health, in December,
Gotcha.
and that's always the top.
But it's crazy
Fitness.
because but fitness is on top of everybody's goal for the New Year's, right?
Hmm.
But majority of the people after like 2 weeks, 3 weeks is like they just fall off. Like they don't. A lot of people don't stick to that.
I think they're setting their bar too high, which
Mm,
is why I stopped doing those types of resolutions
gotcha.
because it's just over. You're in overdrive.
Yeah.
You almost like you exhaust yourself,
Mm,
right? Like too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
yeah.
So if naturally you're not a person that feels good working out every single day, then why on January 1 are you going to try to work out every single day? It doesn't make sense. Just
Yeah.
do it twice. Actually, I saw something while scrolling through like Instagram,
Yeah.
and they were saying that we actually shouldn't, it's not natural for us to make changes in January
Gotcha. Why is that?
because it's winter.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be hibernating. You're supposed to be relaxing.
Hmm.
You're supposed to be taking a step back. You should actually make big goals in the spring when the earth is waking up.
Interesting.
So like the green, you start seeing those flowers
Yeah.
pop up. The energy, you do feel different,
Yeah.
right? When spring pops up,
Hmm.
you ready to put a t-shirt on and walk around.
Yeah.
You're ready to go drive.
Facts.
You're ready to take your car to the car wash. You're ready to put your windows down a little bit when the
Yeah.
weather's better.
You
And
feel good.
you do feel
Yeah.
good. So it actually makes sense. I might try that. I might see how that
But I
works.
think that's more so like for like I think that might go towards like individuals that live on the East Coast, right? Because we do get a lot of that gloomy weather
Mhm.
during like the fall and winter season. And then spring and summer is like when everything just brightens up for us. But like if you're talking about places like the West Coast,
Yeah.
down south, they get a lot of that sunlight. So they get that feel good energy 24/7. Well, it's almost like with us, we go through transitional phases, right? It's gloomy, it's dark, everybody's in a melancholy state of mind.
Yeah.
And then boom, when sometimes spring hits, everybody's on go.
But I think the point is like kind of go with nature. There's nothing wrong with going with nature.
Facts.
Like if you're a person that doesn't like to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and have your
Mhm.
workout in by 5, don't do that.
Yeah.
I am not a morning person.
Mm.
I'm never gonna make a goal to be up and be at the gym. Well, I shouldn't say never because I have done 5 a.m. workouts.
Yeah. Don't like
I
it.
can't be doing them regularly. Like, and I think it's great
Mhm.
when I see people do them. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, they motivate me so much. I
Yeah.
wish I could be that person, but I'm just not a nice person
Nah.
in the morning.
5 a.m. I'm a early bird person. My son's the same way.
Mm-mm.
So it's just like it allows me to be able to get up and just get my day started and just keep it moving.
So you work out in the morning?
I'm a morning person. I work out. I'm in the gym by at least between 5:30, 6 o'clock
Oh,
a.m.
wow. That's
I'm in the
nice.
gym and I just start my day after that.
That's nice.
So maybe you should get on that train too. Get on that wave. Maybe your day will be a lot better.
Imagine. No, it might not be. I might. I'm not
Not
a
hearing
morning
it.
person. Mm-mm. I don't. And my son's the same way.
Yeah.
Like we wake up and we'll be up early. Like
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Like I'll still wake up early, but I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to do
You're like the
anything that
Grinch.
involves not
You're
the
the
Grinch.
Grinch.
Don't say that. I just you gotta. It's like a gradual wake up,
Yeah.
and I'm not one of those people that want to talk about things because Vic's ready to.
He's ready to go.
He's ready to talk about like what are we doing for the week?
Yeah.
Oh, it's January 1st. Let's talk about our financial goals. I'm like, I
Nah,
haven't had one sip of coffee. No, thank you.
shout out to Vic. Vic's my man. So a lot of things been going on between last year and transitioning into this whole new year as well. People changing the industry, making major impact in the industry. This whole Mike Epps situation with
Oh, the
him
buying back the block. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's dope. I think I think when you're in a position that you
Mhm.
can do something like that,
Yeah.
you should.
Mhm.
Because going back to when we bought our first house, I'm not gonna lie,
Mhm.
I wasn't trying to buy it in my old neighborhood.
Mhm.
It's funny, actually, my old neighborhood house is for sale
Oh,
right
wow.
now. Yeah,
And you're not the
yeah.
agent for it.
No, I mean, I don't have I moved out of there when I was 19.
Gotcha.
I haven't been there for a while, but it's just interesting. Actually, my nieces and nephews were talking about it. I have a group text with my older nieces and nephews,
Mhm.
and they were like, "That was the biggest regret when, not having that house, because
Mhm.
that was where they all
Everything.
started. Like
Yeah.
that was kind of like the core
Gotcha.
of everything." And I kind of have a little bit of a regret.
Mhm.
I moved, quote unquote, out of the hood. You
Why
know,
though?
at the time, we were what? Early 20s,
Mhm.
and that was what you did. They
Gotcha.
weren't the Mike Eppses of the world or
Mhm.
other celebrities or people that look like us in general
Yeah.
coming back and buying homes
Yeah.
on our old blocks. Everyone was moving out. They were
Yeah.
moving to the burbs because for whatever reason, like nobody just, the houses are closer together in the
Yeah.
neighborhood I grew up in. For whatever reason, when I was a
Mhm.
kid, I thought our yard was huge.
Yeah.
I thought we had money because my
Yeah.
dad would put up a swimming pool every year.
Yeah.
So I had no idea we were poor.
Yeah.
Now being a realtor, and I see the house for sale, I look
Yeah.
up the specs. It's like a 2,300 square foot lot.
It's
That's
small. Yeah,
tiny.
compared to like other lots out
That's
there. Yeah.
tiny.
That's
And
small.
so going back to like Mike Epps and other
Yeah.
celebrities and just even not even celebrities,
Mhm.
local
Yeah.
local people too. Even if they don't live there,
Mhm.
they're buying homes in places that they grew up. I think it's dope. It's my biggest regret. I wish I would have done it.
So you're saying that it's okay to buy homes a home outside of the area that you grew up in, especially if you grew up in the hood.
That's what I thought.
Mhm.
Now knowing what I know about real estate, um, and the need to feel a connection back.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the older I get, the more I want to like reminisce
Mm.
on like being a kid and all those things, and I don't have that connection. My parents moved out of my childhood home.
Yeah.
So when I go to their new house, like I'm proud of them.
Yeah.
They have a new house. They bought this house. We didn't even own the house that I grew up in.
Mhm.
But it doesn't feel like home.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's crazy because like growing up in the hood, so much stuff went down within my household, or in the hood that I grew up in, the area that I grew up in, and I always told myself whenever I have the opportunity, I want to get away from the city,
Mhm.
right? Because I wanted that peace of mind.
Mhm.
I didn't want to deal with all that chaoticness, you know, and I just didn't want to feel like I was living or I was living in the same type of situation I was living
Mhm.
in, if that makes sense. Like
Yep.
that dark space,
Mhm.
you know? And for me it was always like, oh city, get the hell out of the hood. Get out of the hood, you don't need the hood no more. Go do something else. And when I finally had a chance to move to the suburbs, bought a house and moved to the suburbs, for me it brought out those peace, those tranquility, you know?
Mhm.
I like having the access to go to the hood, right? Because there's still things that go on in the hood that I do like, that I do enjoy. You know what I mean? I love being around people, but when that nighttime comes, listen, I want to be back in the suburbs. I
Mm.
want to be peace. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear sirens. I don't want to hear gunshots. I don't want to hear people screaming or bugging at each other outside. Fuck you, screaming.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear none of that. I
Yep.
want straight peace. But now, like being in the place where I'm at and just understanding the importance of people like us who look like us giving back to the community is a
Mhm.
is a major key factor. And Mike Epps not the only person
Right.
that's going back to the community to where he came from and changing or revitalizing the neighborhood that he's from.
Have you seen some of the houses?
Dude,
They're
like I,
dope.
I haven't what that he's done already? No, I
Yeah.
haven't even
Yeah.
seen
So if you
any.
look up some of the pictures, they're modern, kind of like, you know what, you would like them. They're
What?
your style. When we talk about architecturally, the
Clean,
types of houses that you like
yeah,
you don't want to do that same cookie
cut,
cutter
yeah,
kind of deal.
yeah,
Like as you kind of grow into being a developer and
yeah,
you're kind of like mentoring with people and kind of watching
yeah,
what other people are doing, houses are very similar,
yeah.
nice and modern. Like the it's dope. So they're renovating him and his wife, Kyra.
Hmm.
They're renovating, I think, 6 so far on his old block,
Wow, that's
houses that
dope.
he's been evicted from. So he's really gone back.
Nah, that's dope. I'm proud to hear that Mike Epps is doing something like that, because even like this, I did a quick reel a couple months back or last month or something like that. There's other celebrities that's doing their things as well, like Javante Tank Davis. He's doing this thing, but unfortunately, one of the properties that he bought in Maryland caught on fire. You know
Oh,
what I mean? I think personally, I think somebody was hating. You
I
know,
agree.
so he's a young kid boxer. You
Yep.
know, buying his block back. We try and revitalize it, and this was actually, I think, about a day or two after he just went on news, I'm on air to, like, to showcase what he's doing, and boom, like, the property that he plans to revitalize just caught on fire. That, to me, that's wild. You know what I mean? That's wild.
I think there's a lot of like I think there's people that don't want people to do that. They don't
Mm.
want you to buy back your block. They don't want you to revitalize a neighborhood
Why though? Like, what's the point? That shit's crazy.
because maybe it benefits somebody that you don't really want there. There's still a lot of
Mm.
corruption in development.
Mm.
I mean, you look at, the Breonna Taylor case.
Mm.
They found out after years after
Yeah.
her death was that it was developers. They had a connection with those police officers
Mhm.
that went into her house and shot and killed her. They were trying to buy that neighborhood to develop it.
That's crazy. I think I heard
And
about that.
so those cops got in trouble.
Yeah.
Obviously, everything that's done in the dark comes to light.
Facts.
And so I think there's just a lot of that too.
Mm.
When a person like Mike Epps
Yeah.
goes back to a neighborhood, there's potential that somebody else wanted those houses. These
Yeah.
were rundown houses. They were
Yeah.
boarded up. And so, you know how it is in real estate. We all want those
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah.
We'd love, like, in order for us to flip and make a profit on
Yeah.
something, you have to buy a property that it needs a development.
Yeah.
And
No,
so
it's
you're attracting the hate.
yeah. I think you're attracting the hate from those who have money. But these are people of color that have money, that can actually do this, and that's looking and willing to do this. And I guess you are right in terms of, there's probably, like, more powerful individuals that's out there,
Mm-hmm.
that are opportunists, I guess
Mm-hmm.
you want to say, and they're probably willing to get shit the way they want by any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's fucked up, because, like, we shouldn't have to feel like we have to go through that whole situation. But we're dealing with different subgroups of individuals where they might they want things for themselves, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. You know what I mean? Versus minorities, who's trying to tap into it, and it's hard for us to, like, have a piece of that pie.
Yeah, it's funny you said piece of pie because that's exactly what I was thinking. There's enough. There's enough
There's
for
enough wealth,
everyone.
yeah.
There is enough wealth, which is why I'm saying I regret not buying properties where I grew up
Nah,
because I think the portfolio would have looked better today. We did a lot of that running
mhm,
because you start thinking of all the bad things that went down.
mhm,
But really, if we really got into it and we
yeah,
talked about how good, like the good aspects
mhm,
of living there were,
yeah.
let me tell you,
Had
there were
a lot
probably
of
some
great
really good.
memories.
There's good
Yeah,
memories and that were had. So, like I said, I think it's dope. Mike Epps buying back his block. I'm interested to see more of the episodes. Can I just say this? I
what's
was
up?
upset
Talk to me.
because it's airing on HGTV.
Hmm.
Which, first of all, that's a whole other conversation because HGTV had us all thinking that we can renovate houses in 3 days. Like they do a lot of like funny things,
Yeah.
but why is it that cable is making it impossible for me to watch a show?
What you mean?
Because I look it up. Now I got to get a different app. I got to download another app
Yo,
because it's not coming on normal
cable
cable.
anymore. Nobody watches normal cable
Yeah, you have
anymore.
to you can't stream it through a normal service. Like,
Yeah.
how many streaming services do I have? I have Hulu, have Disney, have Amazon,
Mhm.
and they just making it mad difficult. Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't get it on any of my 6 streaming services that I
That's
had.
crazy.
So I was watching like clips of it.
Wow.
So I'm annoyed. I still have to figure out how to.
So so you don't know what platform HGTV is on?
It's HGTV. I want to say it's like whatever Discovery's under.
Yeah.
And you know how that goes. So I'm mad. I'm mad at HGTV for not just airing it normally.
Hmm.
I'm mad at everyone really for not just like why like simpler times.
Yo, it's even just like all the stuff that's on TV when it comes to like real estate, housing, and all that stuff. A lot of those stuff is like very fictitious, and I believe
It's
like it's
fugazi.
it's crazy because, and I think that also what drew a lot of people into the space of real estate, trying to become developers, trying to think that it's a quick money type
Yep.
thing,
Quick money grab.
quick money grab, and it's not. This shit's hard.
No, first of all, HGTV
It's a
got
grind.
they got like when they do like the shopping around for houses,
Yeah.
it's like I'm a butterfly gardener, and then the other person is like I do cartwheels for fun on the weekends,
Yeah.
and my budget's $1 million.
So
It literally like
that makes
it's
no
so
sense.
unrealistic.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
always have some random job, random ass job that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
And if you did think about it, you're like, there's no way they're making this money. And they're in
Yeah.
California and they're looking for these $1 million properties.
Yeah.
And then they go and then they're like arguing over like stupid things.
Mhm.
HGTV really was a setup.
Mm.
It gave a lot of us, myself included, unrealistic expectations to
For
life.
what real estate is.
And yo, it's crazy. I'm a realtor.
Yeah.
I know. And I've done flips.
Yeah.
And I do home renovations. But there are times where I'm like, we're going to do this quick. We're going to do it. Like, and it's stupid stuff. I'm like, this is going to be quick. This is going to be an hour, 3 days later.
Nah.
And I know better. No, but I know better. Like, what is wrong with me? I blame it all on HGTV because
Yeah.
I watched HGTV when I was a kid more than I watched cartoons.
Yeah.
And so I swear, I know it's not realistic,
Yeah.
but I do it all the time. I always pick a quick project. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just paint that. You know how many
Yeah.
times I've just been like, yo, this room needs to be painted, and then I start.
Mhm. It's more than just paint.
It's just, and then you're like, damn, I gotta switch out that baseboard
Yo.
because you can't have. Oh, but now you can't just paint the walls. Now you gotta paint the trim.
Yo.
And then in my house, like Vic does a lot of the brunt work. He's real
Mhm.
good. He
Yeah.
does tiling. He can do electrical and all that.
Yeah.
I do more of like the finishing stuff. My
Yeah.
dad was a contractor. So I don't know if you knew this fun fact.
No.
I'm ambidextrous when it comes to painting. Like I can cut in with both hands.
Get out of here.
With my left hand,
Finessing?
like I can get in there. So if I'm painting a wall, and I
Yeah.
do this to myself every time I decide to paint a wall, I'm like, damn, now I got to paint the trim. And so something that I tell myself is going to take a day
Mhm.
or a couple hours, now it takes 3 days, and then it's a week.
Yeah.
And then
Especially if you're working and doing other things.
and
in
then I
between.
didn't put the outlet covers back on.
So now you gotta go back and touch that up, do
Yup.
that. Nah, I
Yup.
get it. Nah, real estate is not for the faint of heart. It's not. It's a grind, it's a hustle of its own. You really gotta love it.
Yeah.
No, I mean if not, it's like what's really gonna go on?
But I wish they would show more of that on HGTV.
With more realistic
Yes.
things that go on in real
Yes.
estate. Nah, I definitely agree, and they don't. They create this facade, when it's really not that. And I think people need to stop buying into that shit.
Yeah.
No, I mean
It would be more entertaining if they did.
It will be more.
I feel like you would get way more views
Yeah.
and people would actually engage more if you showed the real nitty gritty. Because some of like those old shows, people are coming after them. Like they did those
Interesting.
like those
Lawsuits?
those home makeover shows
Yeah.
because they did such bad work.
Wow.
Yeah, they've done it, and then they'll like zoom in.
Mm-hmm.
They'll,
And you could just see all the nicks and crannies of all the mess up things.
and that's precisely what our houses look like.
That's crazy.
Like when you think about it, when you do a little DIY,
hmm
if I take a picture of something DIY from far,
Yeah.
right, it looks great.
It looks good. But when you get
then
up
when
close
you get up
and personal,
close,
yeah.
and so that's the point of all of it. Like there's people that are coming out and just being like there was this one they redid the bathroom.
Mhm.
And there was like this nice electric fireplace behind the tub, which is super luxurious. Imagine taking a bath and then putting the electric fireplace on,
Mhm.
real nice. But then on the other side was the shower with all the jets, the rain, the this one, that
Yeah.
one. I don't know what they did with this water pressure. It's like fire
Yeah.
hose status, flying across the room, hitting the electric fireplace.
Get out of here.
So the guy I don't remember what show it was. It was one of those home makeover shows. He had people come in because he's trying to sue them
Yeah.
now, recoup some funds,
Hmm.
and he had like just like a backdrop on, piece of plastic over
Hmm.
it so he could show it, and the water was just shooting clear
Get out of
across. I
there.
don't know what plumbing they did. I don't know anything,
They,
but
they prob- they probably didn't have. They probably just like hire some like hack ass contractors too now to
that's
do
what they
to
say.
that did the work for them and shit like that. Like yeah, a lot of these contractors, a lot of them actually are just bad at their job, you know. And then you have some contractors that are just amazing at their jobs. What do you think about what's going on right now with Starbucks? Like there was an article that I just read
Oh, the what
also.
the like the Stanley Cups? What are you talking about?
Like there was so I guess if you had a Starbucks card,
Oh yeah,
right, that you put money on, I guess over the course of 5 years, so when you spend a certain amount, and whatever balance that you have left on that card
yep,
goes to Starbucks.
yep.
So I guess over the span of 5 years, Starbucks end up gaining or earning not about $900 million off the leftover balances
Yeah,
that's on people's cards.
yeah.
Like that when I thought that was crazy because I'm like I was talking to somebody who works in the
Like the
the
tech space that does that
not
behind the
not
scenes.
not really in the tech space, but they work for Starbucks for
Mm,
a long time, and they were telling me that everything that we see up front, it's all pretty much smoke and mirrors, right?
yeah.
The way they broke it down to me, that kind of made sense. They were like, Starbucks operates like a bank if you really think about
Oh
it.
yeah.
The coffee aspect it's like a cover up to what their true operation.
They make more money off
They
of what the money that's left over in the cards.
That's
I
crazy.
believe it because you know how many times I've been with someone and I'm like, "Oh, use your app." They
Mhm.
forget.
They forget,
They
and that's what they were
forget.
saying.
They forget.
Most of these people forget that they have balances on their card,
Yeah.
and it's not like you could pull that balance out. Starbucks doesn't let
No,
you
you
pull
can't.
that balance
You
out,
can't once it's there.
and once it's there and there's a balance left, they're already taking that money. From what I was told, you know, that they take that money and they're already investing it in other things.
Well, because you think about it, I think people that really forget,
Mhm.
they're probably not even their card's probably not even, or their app rather, is probably not even hooked up to their bank account. Like
Mm.
there's the Starbucks people that have that hooked up, but like you get a gift card, like a
Yeah,
physical gift card. You want to go put it on an app.
yeah,
Now you're really gonna forget about it. That was money
facts.
that was not yours to begin with,
Yeah,
right? Somebody gave you a gift card and you just put it on an app, and especially if you're not a person that frequents
hmm,
Starbucks.
yeah,
Because we've all gotten like gift cards, especially in real estate. You know,
yeah,
you get gift cards to places that you might not go.
hmm,
Somebody might not be a coffee drinker, but it is a good gift to give to
yeah.
somebody. So they give them a little $10 or $15 Starbucks card, and then they don't use it
And
because
then
it's not in their wheelhouse. They're
it's
not even
not. They
thinking.
forget all about
Yeah,
it.
that's smart.
It's a crazy. If you really think about it, it's really a smart system the way they operate. Starbucks always had like this. Their system, whatever they do, however they built it to a point where like it feels impenetrable. But people are becoming woke to it. And I think the reason why people are also becoming woke to it, especially within this article, was stating that they use that money and the executives or the higher ups, the CEOs and all that, were getting a good chunk of that money.
Yeah, and then they started beefing with the local like staff that was trying to unionize because they
Mm,
weren't getting paid adequately. So I guess it's smart.
yeah.
It's a smart way for them to drive revenue,
Hmm.
but because it is public information,
Yeah.
it becomes a slap in the face. Like if you were a Starbucks employee,
Yeah.
you know that they're making an extra 9 million billion whatever they're
Yeah.
making off of just that alone.
Yeah.
That took no work really.
Yeah.
They just relied on people's forgetfulness,
Mm.
and then you're not able to make rent.
And
It's tough. That's a tough pill to
it,
swallow. That
it
makes
is
you mad.
it is a tough. But can you say right that like the CEO? Because at the same time, right, they built the company,
Hmm.
right, and there's different class of or different tiers of, I guess the way I'm going to put it is growth, right? You have the
Hmm.
employees, you have the management,
Yep.
then you have the top executives and all that stuff.
Hmm.
But for the business to operate the way it does, all these top executives, you don't think it's fair for them to get paid to get those millions?
I do, from a business standpoint, sure,
Mhm.
but I don't know how I would feel if I had even one employee under me that couldn't survive based off
Mm,
of what I was paying them.
mm,
I don't think personally I would be able to sleep at night. So for instance, like, if, just say for instance, like, we're
yeah.
realtors, whatever, and let's not even, let's just say let's say that the two of us work at, I don't know, just Joe Schmo
Yeah.
office, and we go in positive attitude and we work so well and we're happy with the pay we get,
Mhm,
and but we're willing to put in extra work and we have a good positive attitude.
mhm,
And inflation, these are
yeah.
still things. Like the other day, strawberries cost $8, grapes were
Jesus.
$10, right? Like, fine, like, things are getting more expensive, but we're
Yeah.
still positive, we're still happy. And then our boss comes through and they're just spending frivolously.
Mm,
It's just fine. Do you? It's your money.
yeah.
But when you have people that are working for you
Yeah.
and that are affording you your lifestyle, don't you think you can take a little step back and just be human? Look at that and be like, you want people to not be able to put food in their mouths and
Mhm.
a roof over their head. I think that's just a little,
Do you
because
think they don't care?
we're talking billions.
You're talking about a lot of money. Do you think they don't care?
I think there has to be a combination of not caring and being so out of touch with reality.
Oof. Yeah.
I think there's some people that are completely out of touch with reality.
Yeah.
And the further you get away from and you move away from poverty,
Yeah.
then the the more you do forget.
Mm,
You do. Like, I have to constantly sit down, and actually we were at dinner, and we had to bring our son somewhere, and we're like,
mhm,
"Oh, let's just grab dinner last minute, nothing planned."
yeah.
And the bill came, and I remember distinctly when, like, we first started dating, like, 20 years ago, and that amount on the receipt
Mhm.
being like a lot, and feeling so bad. I felt bad. Vic
Yeah.
was taking me on a date and I felt bad that he was spending that money. I did feel bad. I'm like, oh. And now we just did it on a whim on a Friday night.
Yeah.
We just went and we spent that same amount of money, and we had to talk about it
Mhm.
because we had to remind ourselves, like, even though we could just do that,
Yeah.
we're not rich by any means, but
Yeah.
even though we could just do that, we had to constantly remind ourselves. But people that have never had to be in a place where they didn't have, they're not even thinking that.
Yeah.
So sometimes these higher ups, they've already come from something.
Yeah.
And so I have to believe that they're just really out of touch with reality.
Mm,
I know a lot of people can be very cynical and like people are just generally bad.
yeah.
I don't think that. I think generally people are good, and their circumstances kind of changes that. So I
Yeah.
have to believe, and I might be wrong. Let me live in my little, like, la la land, whatever. But I have to believe that these people just are so out of touch with reality. They just don't know.
Man, I don't know. I kind of feel it's I don't know how I feel about that. For me, it's more so like if you if you built an empire, right? It goes back to like them not paying taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
The CEOs and stuff like that,
Mm.
like Jeff Bezos and all them who didn't pay taxes at a certain point. They didn't pay zero taxes at one point, right? And a lot of that probably has to do with them writing off a lot of things because they actually built an empire to employ people.
Mm.
But to build that type of infrastructure, you also have to spend money. You know what
Mm.
I mean? And especially when when you're making some form of economic impact
Mm-hmm.
to a state, to a neighborhood, whatever that looks like. I do believe like maybe there should be a way for them to receive tax incentives that does better them and that will continue to allow them to grow. That's just me personally. I do understand that like yes, the regular employees, you know, they there. Maybe there needs to be a way where they get compensated. I don't know. But I think there's a way that there has to be something maybe that they could benefit from too, versus feeling left out. Especially like right now, where people are looking to just purchase things. People are looking to purchase homes and stuff like that. Interest rates were high, and now interest rates are dropping. and working for a company, you're hoping that you can make enough revenue, make enough money where you could actually take those money and start some type of lifestyle for
Yeah.
you and your family to buy a home or whatever the case may be. And it's hard if you can't get that raise, to be able to live that fruitful lifestyle.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone, whatever, you worked hard, you took the risk. CEOs,
Yeah.
they take the most risk.
Yeah.
But I think just historically speaking, every empire
Hmm.
where somebody got too big and forgot about the quote unquote little people,
Hmm.
they all crumble eventually.
Mm.
And I think that's because there are things that, regardless of how much money you have,
Yeah.
morals, integrity, those still have to be there.
Yeah.
And like I said, I believe that people are naturally good,
Hmm.
and it's innate to them to be good.
Hmm.
They're just getting further and further away from
From
like in
reality.
reality.
Yeah.
They are living in a new reality, so
Yeah.
it's hard for them to see. Like they're looking from way up here.
Yeah.
We're living it, and not even so much so. We talked about in the beginning of this. We've kind of moved away from where we grew up, and we're
Yeah.
trying to like better ourselves financially, and all those things, so that we can have more, we can give more to our kids.
Yeah.
But they're just so
They are
they're
so
so
far.
far.
But let me ask you this: if you were in their position, how would you look at that, though? Would you do you see yourself? Well, knowing you, I think you wouldn't allow yourself to be out of touch with the community.
I wouldn't. I managed. I used to work for a big bank back in the day,
Hmm.
and it used to piss me off, other managers and assistant managers
Hmm.
that couldn't do the work that our teams did.
Mm.
It used to piss me off because you get in meetings and you be talking, and you're talking about, oh, this person's not successful, and you're talking junk,
Yeah.
but like you're not in the training room with me,
Hmm.
and you don't know how to do this actual job.
Yeah.
And I understand that you get to a point where you might be so high up that you can't do it,
Hmm.
but then you need to be able to rely on people to tell you exactly what is going on.
Hmm.
They need to trust you, you need to trust them. So for me, I think if I were a Jeff Bezos,
Yeah.
oh, I would have the fancy things. Don't
Yeah.
who am I kidding? I would have a yacht. I would do all those things, but I would probably have a hard time sleeping,
Mhm.
knowing that I have people that work for me
Mhm.
and that afford me said lifestyle
Yeah.
that couldn't afford to pay their bills.
Mm.
And not because they're being frivolous with their spending. It's just that housing costs, food costs, everything just
Yeah,
costs.
it's
Clothes,
expensive. It's
everything.
expensive.
Everything. And it's crap.
Yeah.
Have you noticed like clothes literally cost so much more?
Yeah.
They'd be straight polyester.
I didn't even think
Even
about.
high end.
Wow.
Go walk through a Nordstrom. Next time you're at the mall, go walk through a Nordstrom.
Hmm.
Look at something that costs $400.
Yeah.
Like I'm not talking like a super high end brand, like one of those like indie brands that
Hmm.
you would just have to know. But look at one of those price tags first, and then look at what it's made out of.
Mm.
It's gonna be 100% polyester. You're not
That's
getting
crazy.
quality material.
Yeah, and they
So
start charging the arm and the leg
so
for
that's the
this.
thing, is that
Yeah.
it's just hard to afford to live, and so I would personally have a hard time sleeping at night.
Yeah. No.
Which explains why a lot of people are on drugs.
Ooh.
I don't know, right? Has to. Like I said, I believe that people are good people.
Hmm.
I think they have to self-medicate
Mm.
so that they can walk through life. At some point you sell yourself. You sell your soul. At some point you do. At some point in the climb to success,
Hmm.
you sell your soul.
Sell it in what way though?
You start doing things that are against your morals, your integrity,
Yeah.
that you probably wouldn't have done. And then
But do you think that's needed to get to the top though? Do you think because people have done a lot of shady shit to get to that top?
it depends on what
I can
success
only
is to
imagine.
you.
Exactly.
That's why
I feel that. I agree with
you
that.
always have to define what success means to you.
Hmm.
Like you might not need to be a millionaire,
Yeah.
but success might be that you want to go to dinner,
Hmm.
put your card down, and not have to worry that you can't afford buying groceries.
Yeah.
That might be enough. And So it just depends.
Mm.
If you're a by all means necessary type
Yeah.
person and it doesn't matter, then you probably will do some questionable things, whether you want to believe it or not.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think it really depends on the type of individual that you are, to climb to the top. And I definitely do believe the further up you get, I think there's a possibility or potential uh, that you're going to do something a little on the shady side, right? Because now you're competing with other major companies, and now you're talking about corporate wars,
Oh yeah.
right? So you're going the stuff like that does happen, and they're always trying to one up each other by any means necessary. So they're real, and then at that point they really forget about the people at the bottom, And I don't know, like to me, I really feel like if you're gonna get to the top, get to the top. As long as there's nobody dying along the way, which I can imagine maybe some, but as long as you're doing whatever you can to compete, on the level for success or on the level that you consider success, compete,
Yeah,
keep
but
it
where does
moving.
that stop? Because like we've coached,
Yeah.
right? And we always, at least any sport that I've played,
Mm-hmm.
any sport that I've coached or assisted coaching,
Mm-hmm.
sportsmanship, like what point do we get away from that?
I
Because
don't think you
that is,
do. If you're competitive, you're competitive.
but there's still sportsmanship. At the end,
But if
doesn't
you're
matter. Don't you have to still shake hands?
you still.
Right? Why do we line kids up? Even if you got smashed on, it's
Mm-hmm.
football. You got smashed on. The score was 6-42,
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking 7-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
We still make them line up and shake hands.
Because I think it's the more integrity behind it.
Then
That,
that's my point.
but at the same time, you still need that competitive nature, especially if you're looking to be number one.
But you can have it with integrity.
Behind it,
And
and
at
I
some
do
point,
believe that.
people will lose it because we all get pissed off. Watch, if your son plays a sport, you're going to get mad. If he's playing a sport, you do the whole lineup thing.
Yeah.
You want them to be competitive.
Yeah,
like, go in there and win.
Yeah.
Like, if they're playing
your thing.
football, go smash
Yeah.
them. Like, we've all done it. Like,
Yeah.
hit that kid. Parents always yelling, hit him. But now, say your kid did pretty good. He goes to shake somebody's hand and they slap it down. You're going to be mad at that other kid.
Of course.
Because that kid just showed you he has
I'll tell
bad
my kid,
integrity.
do it back too.
Right.
Smack
He has
him. Go
bad
ahead.
integrity.
Yeah.
That's my point, is that I feel like you can, this is all about yin and yang. It's got to be the balance of life. You can't sway too much one way. You can't sway too much another. You could be successful and still have a heart and still do the right thing.
You can, but still be competitive. Do what you gotta do.
This guy.
Do what you gotta do. What do you feel about where interest rates are at right now?
I'm excited that they're coming down.
They
were high. They were high. I always try to tell people though, please don't compare them to those COVID rates.
Yeah.
Right? Like don't compare the 7% to the 2.
Yeah.
Kind of start at the 4.5.
That was like an
4.5. We rode that 4.5 for a while.
Yeah.
Like that 4.5 to 5% interest rate was normal. I used to work in mortgages, so that was the normal.
Yeah.
And then they went up high, and I feel bad. I feel bad because I had buyers that they were priced out at that point. They couldn't afford anymore when interest rates went up. Now that they're going down, I'm excited. I'm excited for people. I am, because buying real estate, I know, is one of the fastest ways, or one of the, I would say the number one ways to become successful, to make money, right? Even if you're only buying one house, I always say this, not everyone has to be a landlord. But even if you're buying that one house, think of that dynamic and that influence and that has on your family structure. Yeah. You own something. Yeah. Your kids know that you own something.
You never own it.
You never do.
The bank's always going to own it.
But it's still yours. You have an opportunity to buy it out. You can get to that point, but there is still something completely different, right? You're showing them that. But now, if you ever go to sell it and you make a profit, I know when we sold our first house, we needed that. We needed that profit in order to buy the second, and we wouldn't have been able to do that. Or when we refinanced our first house at first, so that we could take that money out and fix the kitchen, right? We wouldn't have been able to do that had we not had that asset. house is an asset for a reason.
Yeah.
So I am excited that interest rates are coming down, and that there are going to be people that get to step back into the market
Hmm.
or step into it altogether.
Yeah.
I want to see more people win. I want to see more people buy houses, even if it's just one.
Yeah.
I mean, for my own livelihood too, but I do know that it does make people more successful. I've helped single mothers buy houses, and when I check in with them now,
Yeah.
3 years later, the beginning of it, they're like, "Oh my God, this is gonna be so much,"
Yeah.
and they're doing great
Yeah.
because it also becomes motivation. Do you know how many of them have like now either moved on to a new job that pays them more, or have worked their ways up in their companies, and they make more money,
Yeah.
and they're good.
Yo, shout out to a lot of independent women. I just did a quick research. In 2023, I believe it was 17% of independent or single women, however you want to define it, um, outpassed home ownership versus men at night at 9%. So major shout out to
Yes.
all the independent single women out there that's doing their thing, that's making this move. That tells you where um like where the wealth is going to start shifting, I think,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm not talking about those that are a couple.
Right.
I'm talking about those who are looking at independence in a different way,
Uh-huh.
right? Whether they independent mother with kids or just independent, no kids, and just making the moves.
Mm-hmm.
Like major shout out, wealth is definitely going to shift towards them. So what does that tell us? Like straight up, guys, yo, y'all gotta step up to the plate, straight up, because
But I
these
also
women are
think
getting ready to kill
we
it.
have to look in between the lines too, because
Mhm.
you know me, I'm the yin and yang. I'm always gonna bring some kind of balance
Mhm.
back. I don't want it to deter people or make it seem like we're pitting men
Yeah,
against women.
yeah,
I think naturally women are maternal,
mhm,
and we want to just, you almost want like a safe space.
mhm.
You want to do
Stability.
more. And that's why that saying, behind every great man, there's a
It's a
woman,
great
right?
queen.
And so it's not that the wealth isn't there for the men.
Mhm.
It's just, I think, the focus and prioritizing those types of things. So I just want to make that clear. We are not trying to make
We
it
def
seem like the
we
men are
nah,
not doing it, but
listen,
but when
nah, we're
but when you're
not. But
saying step
when
up
you
the game,
yeah,
that's what it is.
exactly
Prioritizing that.
prioritize, because
Yes.
that's exactly what the article stated, that women are single women are prioritizing home ownership over everything else,
Hmm.
right? And it's not saying that men don't. It's just that more and more single women are just doing that. And I get it. I feel like more women are not just prioritizing, but they have a sense of responsibility,
Yeah.
especially if they have kids. They want to make sure that their kids are secure. So they want to make sure they have something for their kids,
Hmm.
or at least have like a safe haven
Right.
for their kids, right? And then in addition to that, I think another thing that was in the article that I read too was that uh, women, independent women, are making a lot more money than men are,
Mm.
right? Women are ending up in the six-figure ranges now,
Mm.
so which is putting them in the position of
That
a
they're able
play
to.
that they're capable
Yeah, they're
of.
players.
They are
They're on the
players now.
board. Well,
So
in the 70s, it wasn't until
it
the
was
70s that a woman could even have a bank account.
wow.
She couldn't have a bank account without a dad or a husband on it.
Hmm.
Like you needed a man. And so they couldn't there was no home ownership.
So
And
times totally changed.
without a man.
Yeah.
You I mean, my older sister was born in the 70s.
Sheesh.
So when you really think about it, that I think that's why. That's why it's so shocking,
Yeah.
because there it just wasn't the norm
Yeah.
for a very long time.
No, I definitely agree with you, and I think now it's giving women that an opportunity to actually level up, and they're doing so. A lot more women are graduating with master's degrees.
Yep.
Which is putting them in a
Or
position
doing
to make
just,
more
or
money.
not even just master's degrees. You see
Mm.
more women stepping into like tech fields.
Yes,
You see them in construction
yes.
more. The construction management,
Mm.
civil engineering,
Real
like they're
estate, they
real
killing
estate,
in real
real estate
estate.
though, like
They are killing
developing,
it, developing like they
because
are
at our
killing it.
brokerage,
Yeah,
at
you
our
got. We
brokerage,
have
we
some
got some,
powerhouse women in our
yeah,
brokerage
yeah,
that's
yeah,
killing it in the
yeah. They're
development
building
side. Yeah,
houses, they're flipping houses, they're holding their own when it comes to the men. I think we're gonna see more of it. I think it's dope. I love it. I love to see it. I hope interest rates do, uh, stay
Yeah.
steady. I don't think we couldn't survive another drop like to the 2-3%
Yeah.
range. Like the world would just combust.
Yeah.
But I want to see more of it. I want to see more women stepping into their own and doing this. I think that article's dope. I gotta read that. You gotta send me that article.
Definitely. That's a really dope article, and I think not just overall. I think everybody should find a way to step up, in in terms of building wealth, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, doesn't matter how that looks like for you. Obviously, they say what 90% of millionaires are millionaires due to real estate.
Yep.
And with all these women that's coming into this field and stamping their place, putting their foot down on that pavement and getting to work, just shows you where that shift is occurring. And hopefully, us men, we could actually like see what these women are doing and realize like, yo, all right, they're here, we're here too. Let's all break bread, because there is enough out there for everybody to break bread, and rather than hate on the woman that's making power moves, we should continue to support them and
Encourage it a little bit more
yeah.
and just embrace it. It's not gonna make you less of a man by being with a woman that's willing to pick up a check every once in a while.
Yeah, no facts.
Like I think this modern woman thing, it's all over the internet. And,
Yeah.
She's a little too masculine when she's making money. Like that's so weird to me. That is so weird to me.
You know what's crazy? This morning I just literally watched an episode on YouTube by a content creator by the name of is this Suj? What the hell's his name? SEWJ. And the content was what's it called? Asking rich men if they prefer a stay-at-home wife, right? And the very first guy interviewed, the guy was a developer, and he had this ill-ass quote. I thought the quote was pretty dope. He said, hold on, I be messing up this term. Masculinity has to be earned, and femininity needs to be protected.
Ooh.
That shit was fire.
Ooh.
I was like, that was
that.
fire. I was like, yo, that is dope. And it kind of makes sense, right? And when he stayed, I was like, yo,
that's
dope. Question: would you prefer to stay at home or would you?
I honestly don't think I would. Okay, I always say this. I could not be a stay-at-home mom. I could be a trophy wife.
All right.
No, and I honestly, because from a domestic standpoint,
Yeah.
I don't enjoy any of that. I clean my house because I like my house clean.
Yeah.
Right? Like
she said I'd rather be a trophy wife.
So meaning I got a full staff.
Yeah.
I got somebody's gonna cook for the most part.
Yeah.
And clean and do all those things. And I go to the gym and I wear my athleisure. And I make sure the house is managed more like a house manager. That's what I mean. Not a stay-at-home mom per se, because it's hard work. It's hard. It's hard. When I had my son, I did maternity leave. It's not for me. I'm not cut for that. But I think that I have friends that are either stay-at-home moms or they do like a side gig where a lot of it, they're still doing like significant amount of hours, but they might bang out their 20 hours of work on the weekend. So from Monday through Friday, they are at home with their kids. And I always say like, wow, I can't believe you can accomplish all that. Like sometimes they're like, their kids are up and looking beautiful by 9 a.m. and they're off to a park. They're not school age kids. Yeah. So they have it in them to create these routines. And I think it's dope when you can, but I wouldn't be cut out for the job. I'm not good at it.
Nah, I think if I was in a position where money was not an issue, I would definitely want my partner to be, I guess, proper term, a trophy wife.
Oh, I would, but I want to do like something philanthropic. I still want to do something productive.
That's where I was going to lead into. Like,
I don't just want to shop.
Exactly.
I want to do something productive still. So if I didn't have to go to work and like punch in or do something, I
Yeah.
probably would still figure out something to do. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way Vic's gonna just be working,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna be like, if he had money,
Yeah.
like a lot of money,
Mhm.
and I could just stay at home, I'd be like, yo, let's buy this
Yeah.
property. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Like, I would still find some way to work.
Yeah. And that's why I agree with. I think if the woman was or is capable to utilize her skill set in other ways where it's allowing the family to continuously grow or just making her better versus just her um because I can only imagine it probably gets tiring, right?
Oh,
Stay
imagine.
home, taking care of the kids, even if you're managing it, right? I think it's still time because that's a lot of work that a woman does.
And especially if it's not appreciated. Like, I
It's
like that
yeah,
quote because I think I would be able to stomach it more
yeah,
if I knew that I was appreciated,
mm,
because there's some people that don't.
yeah,
So if you understand that your stay-at-home wife is saving you anywhere from 40 to $80,000 a year
mhm,
just in
yes,
that, you know what I mean? That
yeah.
they're
She's
still
handling the
they're making
finances.
a
She's making sure she
salary in a
yeah,
way, right? It's
yeah,
like that, and then it becomes this 24-hour job because she doesn't get to punch out
yeah,
and be like, nah, I don't want to do that.
mhm,
Like, she still has to take care of the kids. They're still like that. So if you're a person that enjoys it
yeah,
and is good at it, I say more power to you. I know that that would not be my skill
yeah.
set. Um,
I
yeah.
won't mind it as long as she's keeping herself productive and she's doing the thing that if she loves it, she loves it. If she's doing a side hustle, that's a side hustle, and it's keeping her occupied and busy
hmm
the way she wants. I'm all for it.
I
I
know an ill stay-at-home mom. She's great.
mhm,
She's fantastic, and that's what her husband has, that same kind of mentality.
that's dope.
Like, if she's gonna do a side hustle, he supports it
Yeah,
as long as it doesn't interfere with
with the household, what's
with
going
the
on?
household,
Yeah,
because this is the agreement that they made,
yeah,
right? Like, if he's gonna pick up more hours and he's taking care of everything
hmm
financially, that's all he just needs to know, because they're still partners. There's still
hmm
that partnership.
yeah,
So if she's not holding up her end of the bargain in that partnership, then it would be a problem.
yeah. No, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. You know what's crazy? Why I saw I was watching this documentary over the weekend. For those who's not from Providence, but for those who are from Providence and who's familiar with like the hood areas of Providence, there was a documentary called the South Side of Providence.
Gotta watch it. I can't
It,
believe I didn't watch it.
it was so girl. I texted to you.
I know, but I
Don't
haven't had time.
that's not my fault. But anyways, that's not my
You're a
fault.
jerk.
Like it was so amazing because you actually saw the transition of Southside Providence, right? It went from I believe Italians or Jews owning it first, one of the two, then transitioned over to blacks owning it,
Predominantly black.
predominantly
Hmm.
black. I think at one point, don't quote me on this. I do have to revisit it again just to make sure the percentage is right. I believe at one point on the south side of Providence, it was 43% predominantly black people,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And and they had that place on lock.
yeah. The
They,
Southside
everybody,
Projects was 100% black.
it
So
was.
my Puerto Rican family, when they came from Puerto Rico, they were
Mhm.
one of the first Hispanic families to move
They
in.
also spoke about that too
Yeah.
when they also spoke about how now the Latinos are especially Dominicans are the
Oh,
predom
Broad
are
Street
the
is
groceries all
it's all
dominant. Yeah,
Dominican. Yeah.
exactly. And it was crazy because within that phase, especially within the black community, they were talking about the housing ordeal. How I guess there was two major riots that occurred on the south side of Providence at
Mm.
one time, which led to the collapse of home ownership within the south side. And then on top of that, there was a lot of jobs that was in the south side, mill work, warehouse
Yep.
work, all that stuff
Oh yeah.
that was
You
big
know,
back
next to
then.
Mi Sueño or Mambo, whatever it is
Hmm
now, there's that small little building that was an old coffee. That was a coffee spot.
Get
Like
out of
a
there.
yeah, there was it was like, I don't remember the name of it because the building was abandoned because I grew up right over there.
Hmm
But it was like a coffee manufacturer.
Wow.
That little building right in front of the bus stop.
I think I know which
There
one.
was like
Brick
there was
building?
yeah,
I think I know which one you're talking.
there was that corner where Early and Broad is, because I grew
Hmm
up on Early Street.
Yep.
And then so that's where the Ripta bus stop was, but like kind of like right next to it,
Mm,
where everyone would sit and wait for the bus. There was
yep.
that little stoop, that little brick
I think I
building.
know which
It
one
was
you're
a
talking.
coffee spot.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that. But
Yeah.
that documentary was it
I gotta
was it, wa-
watch
it
it.
was it was
Think
very
I'll
very.
cry.
Um,
I might
maybe
cry.
because um you grew up on the South Side, so you might be able to resonate with the transition of how, because they needed homes for low income people or
Hmm.
people of color, more homes. A lot of warehouses or a lot of the businesses that was originally there were torn down to make housings, right?
Mm.
Low income housings for the people in the community. And just being able to see that transitional phase, I'm like, yo, this is powerful because I've heard stories about the lower end of Southside or the bottom end of Southside Providence. And but watching that documentary actually tied in the whole historical aspect of
Mm.
Southside of Providence itself. You should
Oh yeah,
definitely
I'm
watch
gonna
it.
watch it.
It's
I'm
definitely
probably gonna
cool.
cry.
It's
I
definitely
will
cool.
cry because I'm telling you, there bad stuff happened in my neighborhood, but I
Mm.
loved it. I loved growing up over there.
I can tell you
First
was
of
a
all,
troublemaker.
I was not. I'm just nosy, and people watching was great.
Yeah.
And you could walk to the corner store,
Uh-huh.
and you could get a slush puppy.
Yeah.
You could get a quart of water. Like we just did so much walking around that neighborhood, and
Mhm.
then we had like Sackett Street Park, and then the park down the street next
Yeah.
to, now it's like the Asian market, but it
Mhm.
used to be Cadillac Drive. Well, it is still Cadillac Drive. It used to be the Cadillac
The
dealership.
Cadillac dealership back there. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
yeah,
Even like there was a one point in time,
yeah,
Taylor and I forgot the street that crosses it, but there was one point in time Taylor was actually a decent area to live in
yeah.
before
Well, it's all historic.
it's
You
all
look, you go to like when you start like lower South Side and
mhm,
going into West End.
mhm.
When you look at some of those houses,
It's a lot of them are
it's a lot
historical
of
long
them. There
homes, yeah.
are historical homes over there. So some beautiful real estate,
Mhm.
really. And I mean,
They were also told, yeah, they did mention, they did show videos of some of the homes that's actually still there that they're not
mm,
looking to tear down and stuff like that. And it's crazy because a lot of these neighborhoods end up becoming drug infested neighborhoods, and now it's like, we do now see a lot of like revitalization that's going on over there. A lot of developers are trying to, especially the lower end. I think that whole area, I think they might be looking into gentrifying that whole area slowly but surely,
I
because it's
think
starting to
I
become
think like
gentrified a little
anything,
bit.
it will. Like
Yeah.
as I was moving, as I was maybe like teen years
Mhm.
down the street from Early Street, like heading towards like Niagara,
Mhm.
there was like this like cut through we all used to take to get to this like other little side street,
Yeah.
and they started developing. Those are condos now.
Oh shit.
They did that probably like 10 years ago,
Oh wow. Even Clown Town.
maybe
Clown.
even longer. Because see, my whole concept of time be messed up. I feel like that was 10 years ago, wasn't it? It was 20.
You-
It's true. Sometimes I feel
Nah,
like 10
time
years ago.
flies though. That's
It
what it
does.
is. Time does fly. So like, yeah, I could definitely understand like how time itself could be misconstrued. Because even myself, like, this happened like maybe 5 years
It
ago, but
wasn't.
it was really maybe like 10. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah. But it's I'm
I
gonna have to watch that documentary because it will be cool to see that dynamic.
mean?
It's
Yeah.
my family being half black, half Puerto Rican. My
Mhm.
dad's Puerto Rican. When his family came in the 70s,
Mhm.
no, they came before that because my dad was born in the States, like mainland.
Mhm.
So it was like 60s they came, and they moved into the South Side
Mhm.
projects. They were one of the first families, the first Hispanic families.
That's
So it's kind of
crazy.
interesting. That's why all my cousins are half black,
Wow.
because you gravitate towards
The
who you're around,
yeah,
right?
facts. Yeah.
A lot of my friends growing up are Dominican.
Mm.
I grew up off of Broad Street.
Yeah.
So naturally,
You're
that's who
gonna
I'm
surround yourself.
around.
Yeah.
And
Facts.
that's why I get mistaken for being Dominican a lot, because
Mm.
I'm around a lot of Dominicans. But I think naturally that's why all my cousins are half black. I think I have like one cousin that I know of that's not half black.
You know what's crazy that you even said that? Because even when I first came to this country, when I came here, I think at the age of 5, shifted to Oklahoma, then we shifted up here to the East Coast, and we've been in Rhode Island all our life. When I first moved to Providence from Pawtucket, I was around all black people, and that's all I knew, right? And I remember years later, other Nigerians were asking, "Oh, how come you don't speak to, Yoruba?" Or like, how come you don't, I guess, quote unquote, act Nigerian or whatever the case may be. But what a lot of them don't realize, that my surroundings that I grew up with were either black Americans or Spanish. That's all I
Right.
know. It's not what we know it as today, where that African culture is more respected, or there's a lot you see a lot more African kids
Influence and
or
yeah,
influence, you know,
and pride,
and pride
and
too.
pride
Back then it
too.
wasn't like that.
Mm-mm.
You hung with who you fit in with, and
Mm.
I fit in at that time with
And we
being a
were
black.
all little ignorant fuckers running around judging everybody.
I think
We
black
didn't.
people were ignorant back then.
We
Black people were
were
so
no.
ignorant.
I
I don't
just
care
think.
what
I
people
think in
say.
general we didn't have enough education on a lot of
Lack of
topics. We
education,
had a
yeah.
lot of lack of
Yeah, that's
education,
true. There was a lack of education amongst the black
and
community.
there's this within I've experienced this in my own family,
Yeah.
and I don't mean me directly,
Mhm.
but before, it was a bad thing to be black.
Yeah. It was a
It
bad
was a
thing to be
bad thing
African.
to be
Yeah.
well. Then that was even
Worse,
worse
yeah.
because then your proximity to blackness is even blacker,
Yeah.
and so like that's why you had a lot of like black Americans saying the whole like, oh, I'm Portuguese,
Mm.
I'm Native American, and I've had that happen in my own family.
Wow.
Like I've had older generations tell us for years
Yeah.
we're something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, for so long, oh, you got Portuguese in you, you got Cherokee Indian in you
Yeah.
for a long time, and I'm like, really? I don't know. I feel like you're kind of talking crazy. And now with modern technology and being
Mhm.
able to do DNA tests, find out all of it was a lie.
Yeah.
And so again, going back to, I feel like people are innately good.
Mhm.
I'm like, there's no way these older people in my family were liars. They
Mm.
weren't, but it was a way to soothe themselves.
Yeah.
They were pacifying the fact that they lived through civil rights movements.
Yeah.
And so if they could move their proximity to blackness a little
Mhm.
bit further away, then that puts them in a better social status. That's why a lot of people, that's what they did. And so identifying, and that's why education has allowed us to feel more connected to
Yes.
our historical origins.
Yes.
Meaning when you're black, you do have some kind of reverence to the motherland. You have
Yeah.
some connection to Africa, where when I was a kid, nobody was telling you that that's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
And now we have just so much access to information. It
No, we
becomes
don't.
cool.
Yeah, no, thank God that things turned around, and you know, I think people are appreciating more of the African culture than anything now. You know what's one ignorant thing before we end this episode?
What are you gonna say? Get off your chest.
Nah, yeah, no, I gotta get this show off my. Yo, I love Cameron, right? I love Cameron. I think I've always thought Cameron was one of the illest hip hop artists out there. But there was this post that came up today, man. That this dude Cameron was like, yo, I'd rather just be called black. I don't want to be associated with, I think something like African American
Yeah.
or African, because Africans don't appreciate black people.
He was just basically like, Africans don't fuck with us. Why we gonna fuck with
Why
them?
we gonna fuck? Yeah, I was so tough. I'm like, yo, that is like, and this is the type of shit that causes stir-ups with the black community. You know what I mean? And I think
any community.
with any community.
You see it with Hispanics. You see it
Yeah.
anywhere, really. You see it in Italians, right?
Yeah.
Sicilians were, that was a bad thing at some
Yeah,
point.
at
Because they
one
were the
point in time,
darker skinned
yeah.
Italians. And now it's like, if you're from Sicily, you're a real one,
Yeah.
right? Like it's funny how times change.
Yeah.
I hope that he does a little bit more research and some soul searching,
Yeah.
and realizes that as like having that platform,
Yeah.
that he just looks to
That
educate
platform's
more.
so fucking amazing. He
It
just had to
is.
say
I
that
know,
shit.
but
I was
everybody
like,
does.
Yeah, I was
Everybody
like so. I
does.
was like, fuck him. Like, why? Why?
But it's probably because he lacks education in that area and understanding why he should feel some affinity and some kind of connection
Yeah.
to where his people come from
Yeah.
and have came from. Like, yeah, I've never been to any place. I think I have like I think when my sisters did their DNA test, there was like some like Cameroon, or I've never been there,
Yeah.
but I think it would be dope to go and experience it. I understand him maybe not wanting to like wave around a Nigerian flag
Yeah.
because he maybe doesn't have a connection
There's no
to
connection
that.
there. Of course, that makes
But
sense.
I think you still have to be respectful and acknowledge the fact, well, that is where you come from.
Yeah.
That is your bloodline. That
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. No shade upon you, Ken, but that was fucked up. Love you though. Still think you're an ill ass rhymer. But anyways, it's your boy Sadiq. Definitely want to thank our sponsors, Caltif Investments. If you guys looking to lease any properties, you guys could definitely reach out to them. And if you guys are looking to get into the space of real estate investment, whether that's rehabbing homes or developing homes, whatever that situation look like for you, you could definitely reach out to them as well. They will make that happen for you. They'll provide the funding and they'll provide a place for you guys to call home if you're looking for a place to lease. And also, in addition to that, you guys know what it is. Follow us on all our social platforms. We're on Instagram as the network.co, THENETWRK.co. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're all over the place. And if you guys love what you guys hear today and you guys like my homegirl Angela and you guys want to see some more of her, definitely let's let me know. Let's make that
And
happen.
we're just talking shit right now.
We're
We're
just,
talking.
it's still
shit.
early because
It's still early.
this hasn't even really
No.
cracked yet.
No. This is just vibing, introducing, kind of like kicking off the new year, getting ready for what it is. I
what's to come.
think there's some good things on the calendar.
There's some
Right?
great things. The
Really
calendar's
great
filled. The
things
calendar's
coming up.
filled up for the first quarter already.
Which is dope. So
Yeah.
shout out to you. If you are interested in,
It's gonna be shout out
if you're
to us.
interested in being a sponsor,
Yes.
hit up Sadiq.
Or hit up Angela.
Or hit me up. We're really looking to grow the network and make sure that we're having meaningful conversations while you get to know who we are.
Yeah.
And that's what today was. Really like kind of get to know at least me. Anyway, thanks for having me do this one. And then there'll be more education. Just more.
There'll be more
chopping it up.
informative content that you guys
yeah.
great interviews. The lineups that we have is definitely great. I think you guys will be impressed with the lineup of guests that we're going to be bringing onto our platform as well. And if you guys listen, share this video, share the reels, share the short forms, all that great stuff,
and interact with us.
Interact.
Tell us what you want to hear. If
If
there's a topic that you're like, it's making you itch.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Doesn't matter if it's controversial. Doesn't matter it's great, just something that interests you. Doesn't matter what it is, and you want to hear it. Let us know. We'll do our best to try to make it happen, and I'll bring it out there to you guys. Anything you guys say, Angela? How should they connect with you?
They can connect with me on Instagram. You can find me at Angela.Montero 401. I'm pretty sure.
Look at that. She doesn't even know. She
doesn't
even know her Instagram handle.
He might have to. I don't. Do people just know their Instagram handles?
You got to know your Instagram.
Oh,
That's
they
why
do?
it gotta be so simple. That's why mine's Sadiq Davies. You gotta be so simple with your Instagram handle.
Yeah, mine's like underscore the Alba Group something. So you could just look me up, Angela Montero, but it's Montero, no I.
No, it's not Montero. That's how I used to spell it.
Everybody does. So it's ERO. If you look that up, you'll find me. I'm there. I'm on TikTok.
She does makeup. She's a beast with the makeup. She does her thing. She does the makeup thing. She's a beast with it.
So I do have a makeup page, Makeup by Angela. You can find me there. But
see,
that's what I do. I'm all over the place. You gotta have multiple streams of income.
Hustlers. That's what it's all about. Definitely interact with us. Until next time, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Let's go.